Well, deadlines could collide this week on Capitol Hill. Government funding expires at midnight on Thursday night as lawmakers battle over who should raise the debt limit. That would be Friday, October 1st is the deadline. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi now setting the infrastructure vote for Thursday, while also aiming to take action on the massive reconciliation package. I spoke with Congressman Kevin Brady this weekend about the devastating impact this enormous amount of spending could have on Americans. Watch.
I've never seen Washington spend so much to kill so many American jobs, to raise prices even higher, and to expand the welfare state, the greatest expansion in our lifetime. This is an economic surrender to China, Russia, and Europe, with saddling American businesses with some of the highest tax rates in the world, which will drive and kill, we think, about 3 million jobs, drive many of them overseas, and make it easier to be a foreign company and worker than a U.S. A company or worker. Congress's own scorekeeper, the Joint Committee on Taxation, confirms that low-income, middle-class families will begin to see tax increases. The tax policy says beginning next year.
Joining me right now is Texas Congressman Michael Burgess. He is also a member of the Energy and Commerce Committee. Great to see you, Congressman. Thanks very much for being here. Can you walk us through this week? Nancy Pelosi was set to have a vote on infrastructure today. She has pushed that now to Thursday. Are you expecting that you'll also have that larger package to also vote on, the spending package along with the infrastructure package this week?
I do. It's not required. It's not one of those things that expires September 30th. It's on the transportation bill that Speaker Pelosi is also going to bring up for a vote. There was a guarantee given to her moderates, and in fact, it was written into a House rule a couple of weeks ago that we would vote on that today. So I don't know how she manages that. But this bigger thing, the behemoth that Kevin Brady was talking about, does not have to come to the floor this week, but it is pressure brought by the progressive wing of her caucus that says we must vote on it before you vote on the perhaps more reasonable $1 trillion transportation bill. So that's been the game all along. Over on the Senate side, it's anybody's guess because Senator Manchin, Senator Sinema have said $3.5 trillion is too high. You know what, it is too high, but we don't even know because we got this budget bill. I'm on the budget committee too. We got the budget bill late Friday night. We worked on it all day Saturday on Zoom, if you can believe that, for a $3.5 trillion bill, and passed it late Saturday night. It's just absolutely unbelievable that a spending bill of this magnitude would be handled in this way. This requires our full attention, all hands on deck, everybody paying attention, everybody reading the language, everyone knowing what's going on and not just reading from political talking points, and you can't cram it into a weekend. It doesn't work. It didn't work when I was in medical school. It doesn't work here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, President Biden on Friday, said that it's not going to cost anything, that it's free. I mean, there's been this debate about how much this bill costs. They're calling it $3.5 trillion, but we know that there are all these gimmicks in there that make it actually $5.5 trillion. But here's what President Biden said on Friday. Got to get your reaction. Listen to this. He said, I laugh when I hear A, B, C, and D in terms of the cost, when in fact it's not going to cost anything because we've got the revenue to pay for it. Do you have the revenue to pay for it?
No, nowhere. And not even under the seat cushions in the White House do we have the revenue to pay for this. And here's the thing, we don't even know. We were in a budget committee markup on all day Saturday, and we do not have the paperwork from the Congressional Budget Office. We don't even know what it was we were voting on because they haven't finished the basic work on it. No one can tell you what these top line numbers are. No one can tell you the impact on existing tax law and what those changes are going to do to the economy. Congressional Budget Office is notoriously bad about making those projections, but we don't even have their bad projections right now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, there are all of these other, crises underway. The migrant camp in the Del Rio, under the Del Rio Bridge, is now cleared out. But the majority of those people have been released into the United States. We've been saying, wow, 17,000 people who were under this bridge are gone. Maybe they were flown back to Haiti. No, that's actually not the case. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas admitted yesterday that at least 12,000 of those people have been released into the United States. That number could even get higher. We've got caravans on their way with more Haitians coming to the country. So, Congressman, your reaction, you're from Texas. You've seen the impact of migrants coming into the country, 200,000 every month. And now we see what the administration is doing. They're just releasing them into the country and saying, here's a notice to report back or a notice to appear. Many times they don't come back 3 years later to go be heard by a judge. They're melded into America.
Now, the general framework is that someone who gets one of those notice to appear, notice to report, basically has 15 to 18 years where they're not going to be bothered as they remain in the United States of America. They may eventually get to a point where there's some order, but look, you know what's going on here. We're making the next generation of dreamers in a very rapid way. As soon as the door is opened up for those that historically had been called dreamers, there will be that pathway to citizenship for literally anyone who can make it across the border. And this is the problem. It puts so much pressure. If there were at least, but as Trump did, let's put some of the things in the Remain in Mexico policy, the Title 42 restrictions, even working with the governments in Central America to prevent migration. All of that was working under President Trump. None of it is working under President Biden. You would think that they would get a little bit of a clue. But I'm going to tell you something, Maria, and this has been the most troubling thing to me in this administration. I cannot get a phone call answered. The crisis in Afghanistan, and you've got constituents worried about someone over there. Could you talk to someone in the State Department for me, please? No, I cannot. It will not answer my phone calls. The emails bounce back. Same with Secretary Mayorkas. I actually addressed him in person when he came to talk about something else. I said, Mr. Secretary, I've got a lot of questions. I've worked on this issue since 2014. I have some observations that I'd like to share with you. Oh, yeah, we'll do that. And then not a peep out of them. It's just constant that no one in the agency will return the call from a Republican. And we're basically half of the government. It's an even-steven division in the Senate and almost even in the House. But half of the House can't get their phone calls returned. That's just wrong. Wow.
That is so wrong. You are an elected official. Your colleagues are elected officials. Your colleagues and the White House will not return your calls. It's absolutely outrageous. They're just jamming through what they want. There's no stopping them. Congressman, we'll be watching this incredible, critical week. Thanks very much for weighing in this morning. We'll catch up soon. Congressman Michael Burgess joining us this morning.